Aaron Key, Caitlin Ledbetter, Courtney Cash, Parker Morris, Leroy Stalker, Kyle Gore. These are just a few of the names and faces of the individuals who are either missing in the state of Tennessee or they have been found deceased, justice thrown out the window, truth swept under the rug from the corruption coming out of the state, in particular Overton County in the 13th District. PBS and the MPT did a special on the Tennessee medical examiner process and its error rate. In the state of Tennessee, at the county level, if an individual has a high school diploma or equivalent and no felonies, then one can be a county medical examiner. Now, if the officer involved or in charge says that this appears to be, for an example, a suicide, then unless there is a much different opinion, for the most part, the medical examiner will go with what the officer tells him happened at the scene. I have been looking into many of these cases, the ones mentioned, and several more. And the blatant corruption that is seen in these cases, I'm frustrated with it, and this isn't one of my family members. I cannot imagine what these families are going through. According to the documentary on the Tennessee Medical Examiner Program, as high as 44% of Tennessee-ruled suicides were in fact not suicides at all. In fact, they found that the program is easily manipulated by the small town system. And again, this was PBS and NPT that did a special on this, and it's mind-boggling how long this has been going on, and all these years still no accountability. In Aaron Key's case, and this information come from his mother, and she says, in my son's case, a full cranium autopsy was ordered. Aaron arrived late Friday night, early morning hours in Nashville after laying on the ground for what we know of at least 3 hours, possibly up to 8 hours. And there was no body temperature taken at the crime scene to establish a timeline of death. However, he was declared dead at 6:15 p.m. At the state level, Tennessee uses a multiple choice computer program with 4 possible answers to each question. If one of the 4 answers doesn't apply, then they are to pick the answer by word phrase, even if that answer does not fit what they are seeing in this autopsy. So if the examiner gets a third or halfway through the process and decides, we'll just go along with what the county said, but basically what the officer says, that's where the autopsy itself stops, no matter what has been ordered. The family was told a full cranium autopsy, that in a full cranium autopsy where the brain is examined, that there would be visible marks to the back of the head where this procedure had taken place. His mother says, "I'm not saying this was or wasn't done, because we didn't see any signs that had been taken behind the ears where we were told to look for any markings that that procedure had taken place." Many mistakes in the autopsy report on Aaron Key's case. Number one, being no body temperature was taken. Aaron was 6'6" and 240 pounds, but according to his autopsy, he was 6'2" and 208 pounds. The report also did not address the cut that went from above Aaron's eyebrow down through the eyelid to the right corner of his eye. In the crime scene photos, this cut was as straight as if cut with a scalpel. It also didn't mention that Aaron had a broken nose or other contusions that were on his face. It only mentioned scratches. There were visible scratches around his mouth. There was nothing that his mother saw in the report mentioning stomach contents, nothing about the last time he'd eaten. The medical examiner's precise wording was there was one very, very faint purplish mark under Aaron's chin. A statement made by somebody who allegedly witnessed Aaron committing suicide said that Aaron was pushing her away and fighting her off. So as you know, Aaron allegedly, according to what the officials are saying, Aaron committed suicide by hanging. We're talking a 245-pound guy. He has a broken right wrist, yet he's right-handed. He had to climb up onto a beam to get to the rafter that was 16 feet in the air, hang onto the beam, hang out about 4 feet to where the rope was tied off to the rafters with the broken right wrist, and Aaron being right-handed. There is no possible way he could have done that and tied a knot in that rope one-handed with a broken wrist. The mortician actually made the comment that says in his 25 years of being a mortician, he's never seen a hanging like this, and then asked Aaron's mom if her son had been in one hell of a fight. There have been several ruled suicides in close proximity where Aaron was, in my opinion, murdered. There was only one of them being irrefutably a suicide, and it occurred 16 to 17 hours prior to Aaron's death. Now, I do want to be clear, Aaron's mother is not disputing the doctor who signed off on these reports. She does dispute the program, and she says there are too many issues if 44% has been determined as wrong findings. There are way too many gray areas in Aaron's case, and seeing that in so many of these other cases as well. I mean, when I first started working on Aaron's case, I listened to what Aaron's mother was saying. I spoke with her, and I come into this, other than speaking with her, a blank slate. So for me, I wanted to look at it different. I didn't want to prove that Aaron did not commit suicide. That leaves too much room, in my opinion, for that particular investigation to be biased if you're trying to prove that they did not. I wanted to prove that Aaron did commit suicide. And it was no offense to anybody, but I wanted to get to the truth of what happened. And in my opinion, the truth is Aaron Shane Key was murdered that night. And there is no possible way that I am finding that he was able to commit suicide. Caitlin Ledbetter. She has been missing for, honestly, quite some time. And I know the family's been searching. I know there's been people helping the family search. But when you're not seeing any action from investigators on a case, yeah, she's been missing for a while, but not to the point that this should be considered a cold case. This should still be looked at. There should still be searches on the ground for Caitlin Ledbetter. And we will not reveal when we're going to be there, but we will be coming to Tennessee and searching for Caitlin Ledbetter. Parker Morris is another one we will be searching for. And Courtney Cash. Courtney Cash's case, yes, there was one person who pled guilty, was sentenced, charged and sentenced in the death of Courtney Cash. And it seems that everybody was fine at that point. We got somebody who took the blame. Case closed. When you look into the case and what is going on there, that case should not be closed. There is still one more person, in my opinion, who could very possibly, well, have had a hand in Courtney's death. And is walking free, not seen as a person of interest, not being looked at. I mean, for all purposes, case closed. I mean, I feel for the families. My emotions, I have to admit, sometimes get the best of me on these Tennessee cases. The family members of these individuals in Tennessee, some of the strongest people I've ever talked to. I've talked with several from several of these families. Some of them I haven't spoken with family members yet. But just the strength. They're not just looking for answers for their missing loved one or their loved one that's deceased. They're not just searching for the truth in their case. They are helping the other families who are hurting just as much as they are. And while the process has been slow, there are signs that it is making a difference. I hope and pray these families see the difference that they're making, because they are making headway in Tennessee. And I'm asking all of you, please, any flyer, any article, anything you find, be it on social media, be it a Google search, anything you find on these cases, please be sharing that. Keep it in the public eye. Keep the attention on these cases. That keeps the pressure on these officials to where eventually something will have to give and the truth will come out. Justice can be served and these missing people can be brought home to their families. Please be sharing everything you can on these cases. These families need your help. I don't like speaking for my team members when they're not here, but we have had this discussion multiple times on these cases out of Tennessee. And just like Randy Leach's case, I've given my word to some of these families, And if you are a member of the family of any of these Tennessee cases that I haven't got to speak to, I would love to speak to you. Please contact me. But I'm giving you my word right here, right now. I will continue doing everything I can to help you keep these cases in the public eye, help you find answers, help you bring your missing loved one home. I will not stop until justice is served and the last of these missing individuals have been brought home. Speaking with my team members almost daily, these cases come up all the time. I can tell you the entirety of Muddy Water Search and Recovery feels the very same way I do on this. You have our support, you have our thoughts and prayers, and just know that we will be doing everything we can on our end to help you out. And again, I want to extend an invite to any of you. If any of you would like to join us on a live feed to discuss any of these cases, please contact me. We will get that set up. We will help you keep these cases in the public eye. The best way to contact me will be through the email, mwsar22@yahoo.com. I will put that down in the video description. Or you are welcome to call or text me. 913-683-0147 is my personal cell phone number. I will have that down in the description as well. But guys, just hearing different threats people are getting out of Tennessee, and we're talking family members being threatened. We've had some threats come our way on some of these Tennessee cases. And while the threats that come in were enough to the point that we had to look at different options of getting into Tennessee and delaying some plans and reworking plans to get down there to do this safely, we're still going to come to Tennessee. We're still going to search for these missing people. We're still going to fight to help these families find answers in their cases. If anything, that has built our resolve even stronger to do so. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with every one of you family members, every one of you that were friends with any of these people. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. You are welcome to reach out to me at any time. Even if you don't want to come on live with us, if you just want to call me and discuss the case, anything, please feel free to get a hold of me. So guys, with that, continue to keep everybody who has any link in these cases, family members, friends, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Please continue to share everything you can on these cases on social media. Together, working together, answers will be found. Until next time, you guys stay safe. We'll catch you down the road.